going to tell the story of how my mixtape called Literally Fuck Genres went viral. It was all the way back in 2017, and I'm starting to show my age, and I never actually told the story. And if I ever have been asked on podcasts, I've actually always given a different story on every single podcast. So this is the actual legitimate story of like how it came about, what happened afterwards, what happened on the day, all that stuff. So back in late 2016, early 2017, I had to make my DJ career work now because I just left working my like day job as a waiter. I was more of a busboy at this buffet called the Atrium here at the Crown Casino in Perth. And I had to make this DJ thing work now. I'd quit that job. I dropped out of uni. I was all in on this thing. I had no other option. Otherwise, parents are going to make me go back to uni, or I was going to have to go back to a fucking job that I hated. I had to make this work. So I had a plan. I was going to do this series of like mixtapes for like different genres. That was super original, right? And so I think I made the first one. I can't even remember what it was, but it was like a future garage house mix thing. Sounded like every other mix that was coming out at the time, right? And I was telling Aaron, who I've mentioned in a previous video, who was a manager at Arcade Nightclub where I was promotions manager at, and he said, no, you should do one of all the stupid mashups that you make. Because whenever I was playing clubs, before I was playing clubs, I was doing a lot of weddings and birthdays and corporate functions, and so my music taste was always a good mismatch of like 80s, 90s, cheesy dance floor music you get at like weddings, and then also the club bass music that I personally really liked. And so I had this weird mix match of an eclectic music taste, right? And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And then so I had another mixtape ready, and I was like, okay, well, this is no one listened to the other one. Let's make something funny. And so I started making this mixtape that was just, most of it actually already existed. It was all stupid mashups I'd made that I was playing in clubs. Most of it actually already existed. I just had to fill in some gaps to bridge some BPM ranges and make sure it all kind of mostly like played in key and all in scale and all that bullshit. And eventually I made it. And the artwork is what I get asked about sometimes because I actually can't remember how I came up with the name either. I think I didn't have a particularly large vocabulary, and so, you know, when people don't have a very large vocabulary, they use the word literally a lot. I still do it quite a bit. And fuck genres was kind of a thing coming about in 2017. People were like, no, I'm just playing any kind of music. And I went, well, no, you're not really. You're just playing a bunch of bass music at different BPM ranges. Like, it's not really like fuck genres. And so I went, okay, well, let's make literally fuck genres. Because mine was taking it to the nth degree where it was just fucking anything and I was putting it together. And so I called it literally fuck genres. And I was trying to think of the artwork, and I thought, well, what would be funny is if it was me in bed with all of the different artists that were either like in the mixtape or were just popular and recognizable. Like, you'd recognize them in the artwork. And the artist was Ash Schmidt, and he actually did like artwork for a little, it wasn't a serious thing, it was like a DJ trio group. It was me and the two other resident DJs at Arcade Nightclub. We made a little trio called Low Life DJs, which no one could actually agree on a name, so Aaron forced us to name ourselves Low Life DJs because no one would fucking come up with a name or agree on it. And then he made some artwork of us. I really liked the artwork, and so I got him to make this artwork, and that's the artwork that you see, me in bed with like Getter and Skrillex and all this stuff. Anyway, so I started posting on Instagram some of the clips, and that's when I knew I was kind of onto something, because I hadn't posted the whole thing in full yet, but I was posting little bits here and there, and I was never particularly like big on social media at all, even after this, but I was getting a lot more engagement. I was like, I think I'm onto something. Anyway, I posted it, and I'd never gotten more than like 100 plays in like a week. And then this thing got, I think at the start, just locally, it got like, I'm going to forget the stats, but it was like maybe like 1,000 plays in a week. I actually remember the day it hit 1,000 plays was the day that went viral. I very clearly remember. This is all coming back to me now. I haven't thought about this in a very long time. And so, anyway, what started happening was local DJs were starting to post it, and then I think my friend Adam Sprague, I think what really tipped it over the edge was he posted it on, I think it was X-Trill, if anyone remembers that. I might be showing my age. It's a subreddit on Reddit, and everyone would they'd either leak music or pretend to leak music. It would be the artists themselves trying to get hype for their track. It would be mashup packs and all this, that, and the other. And I think my friend Adam, he was kind of big on there. His DJ name's TBA. And I think he put it on there, and that's when things really started blowing. Because all of these big artists and all these artist managers were on there, and all these people in the industry were in there. And then I remember I still have a Snapchat story where I'm in bed with my girlfriend. She's asleep next to me, and I Snapchatted a selfie. I said, "Babe, wake up!" Something like, "Babe, wake up! My mixtape got 1,000 plays." Little did I know the day that I was about to experience. I think I'm struggling to remember the entire perfect sequence of events, but it was just tag after tag after tag after tag. Jackson Brown, who's now my partner for Industry Set, Axon, he tagged me first, and he said, "Holy shit, Brandon, you're on Nest HQ," which was, I think it's down now actually, but Nest HQ was Skrillex's blog with what's his label? I can't remember now, but it's so long ago. I'm not in the industry anymore. And I was like, holy fuck, I'm on Skrillex's website. And then the lady that wrote about me from Nest HQ is inboxing me. And then I have artist managers from I think I had Zed's Dead's management. I went and had a shower, and then Zed's Dead's management was in my inbox looking for new artists, and nothing came about it. But the fact that Zed's Dead's management was inboxing me was just absurd to me. And I'm telling my girlfriend all this stuff's happening, and then that's when all the reposts happened and all the comments started happening. I'm going on SoundCloud. Every big artist in the industry was every second notification on my SoundCloud. Slushy reposted it, Jaws reposted it. I'm getting reposted by fucking everyone in the industry. I'm this is absolutely insane. The play count is just climbing really, really quickly. I'm getting tagged in another blog post, another blog post, another blog post, another blog post. And I was this is absolutely insane. And it was all well and good, but this person may or may not watch this video, so I'm not going to mention his name. But that was when one of the, I suppose, sad things about this was some people that I was very good friends with were now getting a little bit jealous, and it showed very quickly. And I mean in minutes. I'm talking minutes, between me posting about it happening and things happening. I remember someone put in a group chat, he messaged the manager and said, "You'll need to make the doors bigger tonight to fit Brandon's ego." And I was I haven't even talked to you all day. I haven't said it. I haven't even actually posted about it happening yet. You just seen other people's posts. So that was very sad. Because me and this guy had kind of come up together at the same time. And that was a bit disappointing. Because we were really close mates. And then, I remember that day as well. It was going crazy, and I knew that it was just every fucking major EDM publication seemingly on earth was posting about it. Every 30 minutes, I'm getting tagged in another article. And I remember that day I had to pick up Sippy, the dubstep artist, because she was performing at Arcade that night, and because I was promotions manager there, I was in charge of artist liaison. So that means you go pick them up from the airport, you take them to the hotel, you take care of them, make sure they're all safe and happy and well fed. And I was waiting at the airport for her, and I texted Jeff, who I think I might have mentioned in a previous video. He was kind of like my booking agent. He would book me for the clubs and stuff that I was playing at, and he was kind of the point of contact. And he used to be in a really big band in the 80s, and I'll mention why that's important very soon. He's actually every year he's in the top 50 most influential people in the Australian music scene. Anyway, I texted him and I explained he's not in the EDM scene, or at least he's not he's not actively in it. And I texted him and I explained what was happening, and because I talked to Aaron previously, and Aaron and Jeff know each other, and I said, I think I can book a tour off of this. People are offering me shows, I don't know how to deal with this. And he goes, just text Jeff, he'll sort it out for you. He'll make sure everything's good. And I was honestly kind of panicking at this point because this is all happening really quickly. And so I texted Jeff and he goes, yeah, I'll call you in a sec. And he calls me and goes, what have you done now? And funny story. I actually, whenever Jeff, Dave, or Jamie, the owners of these clubs, I might do a video of them later. Whenever they call me, I answer by saying, what have I done now? And he calls me and goes, what have you done now, Wilco? And I explain what happened. I'm like, this is going crazy. And people offering me shows. And I think I could book a tour. And people offering me shows over East and the States and all this stuff. And I don't know what to do. And he goes, okay. He goes, relax. He goes, I'll Google you. And I think some of the articles are still up. You can Google literally fuck genres, Wilco. He goes, I'll Google you and I'll see what's going on. And don't worry, I'll take care of you. Okay, cool. And then I pick up Sippy from the airport. And then drop her at the hotel. We're going to go get lunch. And I didn't at first tell her, like I wasn't actively bragging to people or anything like that. And I told her, I kind of mentioned without saying literally fuck genres or specifically what it was, like what was happening to me that day. And she goes, oh, is that you? And I go, yeah. She goes, yeah, like so I just read Stony Road's article about you. She goes, is that you? I go, yeah. And she goes, what the fuck? Anyway, and then I go to the club that night and everyone's talking about it. I'm like, this is absolutely insane. And then there was another, I don't know if I should tell this story or not, but I knew that it was very much like a viral kind of one-hit wonder thing, right? It kind of came out of nowhere. There was a lot of luck involved, and I'm sure it would fizzle out very quickly. And we're in the green room. It's me, Sippy, bunch of other people, and the guy who I mentioned earlier, we used to be friends, and now was seemingly very jealous, and then there's a lot of everything that happened, and everyone else was talking about it, and then I said, yeah, it's all really great, but I'm sure it will be over tomorrow. And as I finished saying that, I took my phone out, and then the other guy said, yeah, Brandon, I don't want to like cut it to you straight, but like, yeah, this is probably over now. And I opened my phone, I opened Twitter, I go, oh, Run the Trap just posted about me. And the whole green room starts laughing, dude. It's kind of bad, but look at this. The disappointment and shame on this guy's face when that happened. This is the time, it was really comical. And this lasted for maybe a week. And I'm talking to Molly Hankins. I will shout her out. Maybe she's watching this, maybe she's not. We still talk sometimes on Instagram. She was the kind lady that would write about me at SHQ, and she was always very supportive. And I was talking to her a lot about, like, what do I do now? How do I top this? I don't know what to do. And so she was very helpful and told me, like, you're going to do this thing, and maybe you do a sequel. And I was like, I don't really want to do a sequel because, like, it's like the sequel's never as good as the original. And I don't think the second one was as good as the first one. But I'll get to the second one in a bit because the second one went viral as well, obviously. And then, anyways, all my stats are going up. I'm getting lots of engagement. I'm playing these more shows, and then I started booking shows over East. I think I did 2 tours of the East Coast, or did I do 1? I can't remember. It's so long ago. It's like literally been like 6 years now. And so every year, the reason I want to tell this story now is because every year that goes by, I lose a little bit more of the memory in like old, bitter and resentful age. And so I started booking tours, and I might still have the oh yes, I do. This actually wasn't planned. Yes, it opened the page. Yes, so that's actually, is that it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, so I started, I don't know if you can read the label at the top, it says literally Fuck Tours Australia. That's so bizarre that that's so crazy. So I did it at like Perth Tour, which was like a bunch of clubs. It was just like easy. I was playing clubs every week in Perth anyway. And then, and so that was easy. And then I started, one of the benefits, maybe this is a lesson you can take from this, is because I was doing artist liaison for like a bunch of artists, booking tours over East was really easy because one, I had the opportunity because all this virality stuff, and then secondly, I already had the contacts, and so I just had like a whole list of like popular DJs in my phone that had connections to other clubs, and I would just text them like Sippy, like, hey, can you hook me up with this person? Hey, can you hook me up with this person? And then I just had like people messaging me trying to book me for shows, and so I played like No Chill in Melbourne, and Jesse, who ran that's like a really good mate of mine now. We do some business shit together. And then what else did I play? I did 2 No Chills, and then I did I played one gig in Brisbane where there was like 4 people there though. I played the Wall in Sydney, which was great, and then I think it was something else. I can't remember. I think I did that, and then I think after that I think I did the US the first. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. The particulars don't really matter. But then I did the tours and I did the shows, and that was really cool. I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like this whole DJ thing's really working out for me. And then I did the second one. The second one was definitely a lot more forced because I'd used a lot of my good material in the first one. And then second one went viral as well. I think it didn't get as many plays. I haven't actually looked at it in a while. I also haven't listened to it in very long either. I don't think it got as many plays, but it went viral. Like everyone was talking about it and writing articles and said Wilco did, like, you know, he's done another one and things like that. And then, and then I didn't really know what to do. Which, it all got a little bit depressing because I definitely peaked. And I've talked about this in podcasts before. Where the taste I got of the industry and touring and shows, it kind of told me that I didn't really want to do it anymore. Because, well, let me tell you a little bit the context. So after that, I was like, okay, well, we now need to start producing. And so I just started like writing tracks and then posting, and then those got some success as well. There's actually, I think one of my songs, actually remixes or bootlegs, actually has more plays than both of the fucking mixtapes combined. But still, people just know me for the mixtape, right? I did a remix of Bring Me the Horizon where I think one of the chords is out of key, but it got like 1.5 million plays on YouTube on like Run the Trap or something. I did a Fallout Boy remix. There's an I Write Sins Not Tragedies remix I never released, but there's also just search Wilco remix on YouTube. You'll probably find some stuff that has more plays than the mixtape. And I started producing. I didn't really enjoy it very much. I wasn't particularly very good at it. And the other important thing was I didn't care that I wasn't good at it. Like I wasn't actively trying to get better at this thing. Like I was just doing it because it felt like the natural progression. It's kind of akin to when a lot of people finish high school, they just go to university. This happened to me. They just go to university and they just do a commerce degree because that's what everyone else is doing, and it's like the group think natural progression next step. Like you go to university and you get a degree. And so for me, it was similar in the sense of like, okay, now you've gone viral and you're a popular artist, you have to produce now. And I was doing it and I was really forcing it, and then like one of the tracks was literally like a friend, like my name was on it with him, but he fucking made the entire thing. I just sat next to him. I was like, you're such a better producer than me. If I do anything, it's going to ruin the song. So essentially like ghost produced, and like we called it a collab. Because he's just such a fucking incredible producer, and I was just not anywhere near up to his standards to even contribute to this collaboration in any infinitesimally small way. And so I figured out I didn't like producing. And so I didn't like touring as well because I found it depressing. I didn't like traveling too much. I found that sad. And then, so that wasn't rewarding. And then I also didn't particularly care about producing. I didn't care about the plays, and I also didn't enjoy the craft of creating the song. And so I wasn't enjoying either the result or the process. And then all I was just doing was DJing. And so it's a bit like, I've explained this to some younger DJs as well. So if you imagine like a scale, the old school scale, where 0 is like you're just playing to house parties where there's no one there, and up here the 10 is like your Skrillex playing 4 festivals a week. When you're down here, everything ahead of you looks really good because you haven't experienced it yet. And I hit this point somewhere, I don't know, down here, where I got a taste of the next step, and I was like, oh, I don't actually like that. I can kind of tolerate this though. But then what was happening was I was just staying there, and there was like progress. It's like I use Minecraft analogies a lot, where when you start Minecraft, it's very rewarding because you start with nothing at all. You had to punch trees to get wood, and then make a shitty little house out of dirt and try and survive the night. And then you keep fighting, and then it gets harder. You go into caves and you have to fight skeletons and get ore and all this shit, and then you build a much more elaborate mansion and things like that. But if you go back to the main menu and then you start a new world and you do it in creative mode, you're kind of just a god that can just do anything, and there's no real struggle because you're just a god. You can do anything. And I'm not saying that I was like a creative mode god in the DJ world, but I didn't have any struggle because I was just staying in the same place and I didn't want to go to the next thing, so I was just doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it's a little bit like the end of Grand Theft Auto, when you've done all the missions, you've got all the money, there's nothing left to do, and you're kind of just wandering around doing shit. It's fun to a degree, but there's no reward in it. And that's when, so that was around 2018 I started realising that. And then the last year of my career was just, it was just kind of sad because I didn't want to progress. I wasn't even particularly happy doing what I was doing. And then I talk about in other videos, all the compounding things like your health and all this stuff, I had all these issues going on. And then there was just nothing left for me to do. Like, I just finished everything that I wanted to do anyway. And so I actually even very vividly remember when I was maybe 17, I saw a DJ, and I remember who it was. It was Josh Bosley. His DJ name was Waz, and he was the resident DJ at Metros. And I remember him posting a video, no, it was a photo of him playing the main room in Metros Frio, and something clicked in my head where I said, that's the end game for me. If I could be the resident DJ at Metropolis Fremantle, that's it. And at this point, I'd done that every weekend for 3 years. Like, I'd hit the end game for fucking 150 weekends in a row. Like, I was a resident DJ at Metropolis Fremantle, playing 10 p.m. to 3 or 4 a.m. or whenever I was too drunk and someone else took over, like Joseph or Patrick or something. And then, like, I'd done that for fucking like 150 weekends. That was all I did. That was my main gig. And then that wasn't rewarding anymore. And I actually remember I never had a announced last gig. But my last ever actual gig was at Amplifier. No one knew on the night as well. Actually, I mentioned to a couple of people on the night that they had no fucking idea. And then one person wanted Anton, who ran the other room, Capital, the bigger room, actually wanted to get on the mic and say something. I said, no, don't say anything. I don't want anyone to know. And I remember my last ever gig at Metropolis Fremantle, and it wasn't actually officially my last gig. The way I finished was, I might explain it in another video, but I had this feeling it was the last gig. Like, I was just standing there. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I remember looking at the microphone. I was a little bit drunk, and I was going to say something on the mic, and I decided not to say anything. But I had this internal voice in my head where I was like, I'm not going to do this again. And I didn't ever again. Actually, no, I might have covered someone once, like a year and a half later, and I told no one to tell anyone. I made sure there was no lights on the stage, but I had to cover someone. And yeah, and that was when I realised, like, I'd finished this DJ thing. There was nothing left for me to do. It wasn't rewarding, and it wasn't healthy, and it wasn't serving anyone, so I had to move on to something else. Anyway, that's an incredibly, remarkably long story of how literally Fuckshon blew up my career and then fizzled me out. I hope there's something you can take out of that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.